you know, for me after the webinar here, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to help you. It also helps me if you decide, you know, you're on an older version and you upgrade. It helps me if you contact me directly and I set you up with that. So feel free to take a screenshot of these contact details here and contact me if you need to. So MetaStock 18, this is kind of everything we're going to be discussing today that I'll be going through with you. The main thing we did in MetaStock 18 is we completely rebuilt the charting engine. So anything to do with charts, drawing tools, new indicator customization abilities, all that has been completely revamped. And then plus we've done some new search functionality stuff for the Power Console, and then we did some changes or added some stuff to Optionscope as well as Quote Center. And right now we will start with the charting part. We have 11 charting styles. We've got themes going on. Again, new custom or indicator customization abilities, a new scrolling function with the drawing tools, and chart usability. So let's just jump into MetaStock here. I'm just going to go right into the charts. Also, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. And Jeff and Kelly will let me know if there's questions elsewhere. I'm going to be answering the questions and go to webinar here. I don't have the YouTube stuff pulled up. Okay, so let's go to Power Console. I'm going to open up a chart, and I'll just open up a very common one like Apple. We'll make sure it's in a clean template so we can start fresh here. And this is what the new chart looks like. It looks fairly similar to the old one. You know, it's just a chart, of course, but there's going to be new things that you'll notice around the chart edges, the chart crispness, or, you know, I guess the graphics of the bars and stuff. They'll look a little bit different. I really like it. It looks great. The first thing that I want to show you is basically how we can customize our colors of, you know, upfill, downfill, whether the close is above the open and so forth. With bars, you can, of course, change the up color and the down color. You can choose whatever you want, just like you could in the other one. It's just as customizable. And that's one thing that I do want to mention as well. Getting to parameters of anything is the same as before. So even though we did revamp the charts and a lot of things, the way to customize things is still the same. So in this example, I double clicked on the bars and it opened up the parameter window. And then let's see, so yeah, you can change the up and down colors, of course. And then what we added though was the ability to decipher whether a bar will be green or red based on close to close. So the current close in relationship to the previous bar close, or you can have it based on the color on if the close is above or below today's open or the current bar's open. So previously we didn't have that. That was a big ask, and so we decided to put that in, of course. So they'll still look very similar, but in this case I changed it from open to close, meaning it'll be green if the close is above today's open. It'll be red if the close is below today's open. So you get a little bit more customizability with that in bars. The candlesticks is kind of where this is most important, I feel. By default in MetaStock 17 and before, by default the colors would change. They would be on, I believe, close to close. So if you're looking at a daily chart, and let's say our up color is green, you can also have a fill color. We'll just do that. Down color is red. Fill color, down fill color is red. Default, it was close to close. So this is typically what our candlesticks looked like previously, right? If the close was below yesterday's close, it would be red. The Japanese rice traders, the way they did it though is they would do open to close. So if today's close was less than yesterday's close, then it would be a down day. And that's what a lot of people have asked for, that kind of customizability. So you can now change it to open to close there. I don't know if I explained that properly, but if that doesn't make sense, just feel free to ask the question if I can go over that again. But yeah, so now you can change the way that the candlesticks colors change based on close to close or open to close. One of the great things that we did with the customizable colors on the upfill and downfill that I like is you actually have opacity in default here. So if you go to upfill, for example, pull that down, there's the standard, you can click advanced, and there's an A right here, that's opacity or transparency. You can change, you know, whether you want it to be a little more invisible or more solid, and I'll show you guys kind of how I like it. Just put it around there, and same with the downfill color. We'll go to advanced, go to the A, we can just kind of change that, and we can apply. And it gives us more customizability with the candlesticks there. It looks neat. I like it like that. I'll zoom in a little bit here. Let's see here. And then, of course, you can choose if we want the colors to fill always or if the close is less than the day's open. So you can kind of customize that to your liking. So yeah, that was a great addition to the software. We've always had questions on more customizability for candlesticks there. Now you can do that to your liking there. One other thing that I do want to show you is, let's say that you have a particular way that you like to look at candlesticks, and you know, whenever you open up a chart, we don't want to keep inputting that particular way that we like it. So now there's this little arrow over here where it's next to defaults. If you click that, or sorry, there should be a save. I think I'm wrong on that. Maybe that's actually, okay, so you can restore defaults there. We'll get to that later. I'll show you with like trend lines and stuff like that, how you can save so you don't have to keep inputting the same options there. But we also have the candle volume charts here where it's similar to candlesticks. However, volume is incorporated into the candlestick itself. Oh, that looks kind of interesting. Let's change these downfill colors and upfill colors. So we still have candle volume where it's similar to candlesticks, but the candles are bigger based on volume. The more volume that's a part of that day of the candle or that bar itself it's going to be a thicker candlestick there. The thinner it is, the less volume there is. So we still have that. You can customize the candle volume how you like it. EquiVolume is very similar. It doesn't have any wicks. There's differences between the two, but it's similar. It doesn't have the wicks, and the more volume that's in the EquiVolume sticks, then they'll be wider there as well. So there's those. We also have added, this was a big ask. I'm very excited for this. I get people asking about Heiken-Ashi anywhere from 1 to 5 times a month. It varies. Previously in the old charting engine, we couldn't have Heiken-Ashi based on the limitations we had, but now with the new charting engine, it's something we're able to do. I'm not going to go into how Heiken-Ashi works or anything, but for those that like Heiken-Ashi or want to get into it, you can now apply it inside MetaStock. And what's great is, if you want to learn more about Heiken-Ashi or anything, said that you can click the help button right here and it'll teach you more about Heiken-Ashi. So there's a little help function there. But again, it's customizable. That was a new great feature included. And then we also have the line chart, of course. Now, what I like about the customizability of these charts is this line chart will actually look pretty neat. I'm going to show you here. So here's the line chart. Just a regular line chart. We can choose the colors of the up days and the colors of the down days. So let me zoom in here. So yeah, with the line chart, you can of course see red and green, customize those to your liking. And then you can choose the plotting style, which you might like a stepped line instead of just your regular smoothed out line. Step line is very nice. It shows you the exact price points of where that day lands on. Easier to understand kind of what price is doing. with the step line. Personally, I prefer that if I were using a line chart. And then you have more customizability with that as well. So let's see here. I guess not under a step line exactly, but you can do a filled line and then a stepped filled line. I'll just work with that one since we have step line up. You can put in fill colors. That's more customization. So we'll do the up fill is green, down fill is red, and let's just apply it there. And that's kind of what it does. And what's great is, again, you have the option for transparency or opaquency on those colors, so we can make them look different, just more customization. I think it looks nicer. You can make it as dramatic as you'd like or least dramatic. You don't even have to have those colors. Of course, it's up to you, but you can customize all those different kind of step lines and such. We also have the dot plot style, and then we have histogram here. So yeah, those are the new customizability features with the different price styles we have. Any questions on those, definitely let me know. But we'll move forward. There's a lot to cover. Let's see what's next here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of jump back and forth between MetaStock and the PowerPoint. Typically, I would just stay in MetaStock the whole time, but this helps me kind of stay on track here. So we went through the charting styles. I kind of showed you all the colors there, how you can customize those. And then next we'll go through themes. Okay, we went through those, and yeah. So here's my next favorite part, which is themes. Themes are actually getting very popular. People like to select their own themes and stuff like that. So you can do that now. I'm going to go back to CandleSticks though before I do that. So there's this little icon down here in the bottom right corner. This is your theme selection. Once you click that, you will see a list of all the themes here. There's a lot to pick from, so it gives you a variety. You might not like a few of them. You might find one or two that you really like. You can stick to the ones that you like the most, of course. Here's an example. This would be black gradient right here. Let's see, black steel. This is a very popular one. I like this one. For those that do use like Zenith, this kind of follows that Zenith icon theme where you have like the black and orange look to it. And then we have others like chrome, it's like white with that bluish or chrome look mixed in there. Dark mode, and some of these will look similar. They vary in different ways. Electric is another neat one. Blue chart. But you can see like with these themes that charts just look so much better. Like they look newer. They don't look as old. I mean, the charts weren't terrible in 17, but they just look a lot more modern and clean in this version 18, that is. Let's see, Oscilloscope. This is another, I'd say, popular one. It's pretty cool if you like the color green. This is a great one. But yeah, so those are the different themes. You can go through all of them and just kind of pick your favorite one. For the purpose of this webinar, though, just to make sure you can kind of see everything, I'll keep it on bright steel. Is that what that was? Yeah, bright steel. A great thing about the themes and with the new charting engine is it previously, let's say you kind of have a black background, you drop an indicator on there and it's defaulted to be black, you wouldn't see the indicator. Well, with these themes and the smart charting engine, what it does is it will automatically like recontrast all the colors so that everything pops out. I'll give you an example. Let's just go back to the properties of these candlesticks. And let's make this downfill not as transparent. Let's just make it. Hold on. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. If we go to Oscilloscope, here's an example. It like makes sure that green will pop out so it doesn't just blend in with the background. And it does that for indicators, anything you put on the chart, and as soon as you change the theme, it'll change all the colors to best contrast that theme there. So that's another very nice thing about the themes. Let's see, next. Oh, wrong button, sorry. Okay, so yep, those are all the themes there. A lot of themes to choose from. The chart now has a new scrolling feature. So in 17, the way you would scroll is with the, the arrows and the minus and plus button. Well, those are still there, of course, to an extent. Not the arrows, but the plus and minus button. Let's go back to BrightSpark. So we can still zoom in and zoom out with these buttons, but now you'll notice at the bottom of the chart, this blue bar. Now, this is a representation. You see like the blue, how it's kind of like, it's moving. This is actually price. So all the data you have loaded in the background will show here. That's relative to what's happening in the chart, and that's really nice in case there's something drastic on there that you can immediately see. As you can see right here, way far back here, I can see that there's like a dip. I can just click on it and it'll take me right there. And it's a good animation. If you look at that, it scrolls through everything at a great pace and it's smooth. It just feels less clunky as a chartist to be able to jump right to the an area of the data that looks interesting, or maybe you want to see. It's definitely a lot smoother than previously. And you also can zoom out and zoom in by grabbing one of these sidebars. You can see the area that it's looking at in the chart, as opposed to the entire array of data there. But you can grab one of these little sidebars and pull it out to zoom out, pinch it back in to zoom in, vice versa. You can drag and hold it, but the click and scroll just to right where you want to go it's very nice, I have to say. I really like that. Okay, let me go back to the PowerPoint. Preview all available data. That's what I showed you in the bar there. You can move back and forth between chart segments there, and then you can click and zoom on the areas of the chart by kind of pinching how I showed you there. But yeah, again, you can still use the plus and minus for your zoom in stuff. So that's a new great feature, the scrolling feature. Makes charting less clunky. Next, so indicators. Basically with the indicators, you can customize the colors and how they look a lot more than you could previously. Let's see, so let's just go and plot an indicator, and I'll just kind of jump into showing you there. Let's do MACD histogram. We actually added the MACD histogram here. It was always asked for. I just played with it recently, so it's at the top. But and I'm going to come to this point right now. When you grab a new indicator and you drop it, it's basically like a smart select feature that the chart will do. You no longer need to drop it in its own window. You can drag the indicator above or below and to drop it in its own window, but really just drop it into the price action and choose your parameters, click OK, and then it'll automatically apply it in its own window there. Again, this is great for the feeling of it being less clunky and stuff. It's just smarter, it's better, it's less clunky, it's more user friendly. So that was a great addition there. The MACD histogram, basically this is the regular MACD. The histogram here is always asked for. Most MACD users will probably use the MACD histogram. Of course, you don't have to, but the histogram just shows the difference between the two lines, really. So as they get closer, the histogram pinches. As they get more far apart, the histogram will stretch, and that's kind of how that works. But the customizability we've done to it, let's double click on that. And to open up the properties window, again, it's the same, double click to open up properties windows. Color and style. So instead of clicking each line individually, you'll now see the entirety of the indicator on the same page, which again, less clunky, it's just easier to get through if you want to customize things. And so this was a great addition, but we can change how we want this to look. Let's go to the histogram, for example. Let's see, you can see the MACD. I think the histogram is right, yeah, the differential right here. So it's set as blue. We can change the color of that to whatever we want, of course. We can make it a line, we can make a step line. field line, stepped field line. Let's try that. I'm just curious. Let's see what this looks like. Apply. Okay, so it just makes it a stepped field line, exactly as what it says it'll do. Change the color to what you want. You can make it more transparent with that new awesome feature. I'm just going to kind of mess with things here. You can also make things invisible now. Indicators invisible. It's a new thing we added. So if you don't want to see a particular line, just make it invisible. And I'll show you that like with Bollinger Bands. But we can apply that. But yeah, so more customizability with indicators as far as how they look. Again, looks better. Things feel better. So that was a great addition. What's next? Let's see here. So I'll plot the Bollinger Bands for you, and that way we can see that. So there we go. Okay, this is what I wanted to show earlier, and I guess you can't do it on the candlesticks. Maybe you can. I just wasn't doing it properly. But say you want to save a particular you want to save, the color style of this MACD. I don't want to have to do that every single time I plot it. You can click this arrow, and there is a feature here to save the current page as default. So now if I click that, whenever I drop that MACD histogram, it's going to drop this exact way that this page is saved. So it'll always drop that way, and that's very nice. We have this feature that runs across the board for like drawing tools, indicators, and those things. So if you drop a lot of things onto the chart, you're going to love that feature. It's going to save you time. But yeah, those are those features there. You can also restore to defaults and stuff like that if you want to. If you customize it, don't like it, you want to go back, you can do that too. So let's just click OK there. Now I'm going to kind of show you this kind of the example there with the Bollinger Bands. I feel like this is a great addition too. Let's grab that, drop the Bollinger Bands there, click OK. And I've already actually customized it, but yeah, you can go to open up the properties. You could choose, I think I clicked, yeah, I'm selected on MACD still. Let's select, oh, there we go. Just double click on it. Go to color style, and we could do the same kind of thing with the Bollinger Bands. You can have the upper envelope, lower envelope, or the middle line, different colors there. Also, the line above the Bollinger Bands actually creates a Bollinger Band. You can choose the color of that. The fill color is right below that, the blue that I selected there. Let's change it to green. And then the lower band, the lower envelope, let's change that to green as well. Let's just apply it. Now, we definitely don't want that as we can't see anything, so that's when the opacency comes handy there. Let's just make that more invisible, more transparent, and let's see what it looks like. Apply, and there we go. And so, yeah, you can kind of customize, but the indicators a lot more, and that's kind of what we went there. Everything to do with the charting just looks better, feels better. Has a lot more customizability to it. It's less clunky in the sense that you can save things to your liking so that they always react that way when you drop the indicators on charts. So there's that. Let's see here. Another thing is all the values, indicator values, they will plot in the title bar. So now you can see what those are in the title bar there. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Plots can be styled per line, which we already kind of went through that with the MACD and stuff. The indicators can be invisible, and I'll just kind of show you what I mean by that. So let's go to this Bollinger Band, for example. If we want to make it invisible, we can make either of the lines above, below, all of it invisible. Let's just do the middle line. If I don't want that red line there, which it's typically pretty important, excuse me there. Actually, I want to close that. I don't want no pop-ups. I did forget to close that. My apologies. And let's quit. No, we'll keep that. Okay. But yeah, so now that line is actually invisible. You can still see a little line there because, oh, I apologize for those pop-ups. Those lines right there are, you can make them invisible. You can kind of see the little line there because the two shades of the envelopes are different, so it still kind of shows a line. But anyways, you have the ability to customize all the lines and stuff in that sense, where you can have things disappear as well. And on to the next here. Smart plotting indicators, you can auto drop. A couple of indicators we've built into it. Again, MACD histogram we went through, and then volume indicator, volume up, down. We'll go and plot volume up, down. It's just going to be in your indicator quick list here, of course. Let's look for volume. It's going to be alphabetical order. So volume up, down right here. I'm going to just close the histogram. There it is. Okay. Grab it, drop it. And here's the properties page. We want the up color green, down color red. What's great, and let me just click OK. So with the new customizability features, the up and down field on volume, you can choose whether the up is green because the day, like the we're up on the day, or we're down on the day considering the close, or volume itself if volume. Okay, so no, sorry, I had that incorrect. The colors will change if you have it selected to volume. If today's volume is less than yesterday's volume, it'll be red, and that's that down color. If you set it to close, it'll be in relationship to price. So if you close higher than yesterday, it'll be a green bar. If you close less than yesterday, it'll be a red bar. And so you get to customize, that volume color and stuff like that. I know that was a big ask to have, people wanted to see the volume in relationship to the close price and such. So you can kind of customize that more. Again, you can make it invisible if you wanted. Don't know why you might want to do that, but yeah. And then you can also save things as the current page by default. So that's really nice. That's the volume up, down. And then the other thing, which is very nice, that was not possible in older versions, is the Ichimoku Cloud. Let me delete this Bollinger Band and volume. The Ichimoku Cloud typically will expand into the future. It should. Previously it did not in the older versions, but now it will. And here it is. So if you plot it, you can see the Ichimoku Cloud plotting into the future. That's only doable because of the new charting engine. If you want to learn more about these things, you can double click on it, click help, and it'll kind of teach you about the Ichimoku stuff. There's also lots of great videos on our YouTube channel you're welcome to go through to learn more about Ichimoku. But I'm not too familiar with it, but I believe it's kind of used as like support and resistance. So this would be our kind of support area for the future that we're looking at, and which is nice to see. It's nice to know. In the previous version you couldn't see that, of course. So that was a great addition to the software to be able to plot that into the future. I know a lot of Ichimoku users are going to be very happy about that. We've also done something called, or the p variable will display indicator values automatically. Not 100% sure what p variable is, but that is a new feature. If you know what that is, then there you go there. Drawing tools is the next big thing. Let me make sure. Okay, we're good on questions. So we've updated a lot of the drawing tool stuff. Things are a lot less clunky. They were just updated, and I'm going to go through a few of them with you here, and I just want to kind of show you what I mean. So let's just jump right back to the software, and I'm going to delete the Ichimoku. So with the trend lines, let's see, I'm going to, with trend lines, of course, you draw them, they'd look normal. They have a lot more customizability to them. The properties might look a lot more full here because there's more to do. My favorite thing is you can show labels on trend lines, and in that you can show if you want, the percent of change or the amount of points was in that move. You can also add right and left arrows for drawing purposes, but I added the percent of change there, and that move apparently was 3.95%. We can do also by points. If you look at, 4x, then, points is a pretty big thing. You can apply it like that. You can also apply number of bars, so that 4% of just that, here, I'm just gonna draw a full on trend line here. Let's get with it here. Say this move right there, and I gotta go add it there, apply. So this trend line right here from that shroud to the peak there, that was a 14 or almost 15% move within 12 bars. It's great information. That's one of my favorite new features with the drawing tools, is you can now see those kind of things much easier when using the trend line stuff. You can also choose it to snap to price or the period, or you can have complete control of where it goes. Right here we're on period. What that means is it'll always snap to, the closest period to it. That way you're always at a bar. You can also have it snap to price. So let's see here, we'll do that. It's always going to be like right here, it's snapped to the low and it's on the high there, but it basically snaps to the bar. Believe it chooses open, close, low, or high, and it snaps. But so you can choose how it snaps to the chart. You can have complete control over the trend line as well, so it doesn't snap to anything that way. You just decide where you want it to go. But overall, a lot more customization. You can add custom labels to the trend lines. So let's just take off, let's do that. New custom label, big move. You can change the font and everything with the label as well. Let's do a 12, click OK. And yeah, so you can customize the trend lines how you want. Let's see here. When you have it how you want it set, you can save the things again with this save current pages default, or there's also like save all pages as default. That's if you've like done a lot of changes and the multiple pages that are there, it'll just save everything how you have it. But on this current page, if we only did changes there, you can just click that saved current as default there and click apply. Oh, you know what? I do want to change that back to 9. And then now, whenever I draw a trend line, it's going to have those same settings. See? There we go. So that's really neat. If you're into drawing stuff and doing analysis in the charts like that, you're going to love that. The next thing. Yep, and most of the tools, they will snap to price or period now. So whatever drawing tools you apply, you can have it snap to those things, price or period, or have full control. Let's look at Fibonacci. So with these new types of things, Fibonacci got a pretty big update there. This has been a big ask from a lot of our users, the Fibonacci itself. So we'll apply it. It has more customizability. Let's go to the properties here. So you can choose, all this like start date, start value, all the parameters here. You can change the font of it. Another immediate thing you might notice is it shows what the price is at of each line. So the percentage plus the price. That was a very nice feature there. You can customize all those things right there. Here is a really useful thing. For those that like to change the Fibonacci instead of using the default values that MetaStock has, you can change them and save them. You can change all the different colors here. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's just do like every other one green. So all the other lines will be green, and apply that. So you can change the colors of them. You can also change the entire, like if you wanted to change everything, this kind of controls all the colors there. But again, you can choose which colors you want if you want particular ones, and kind of just customize your color base there. This color setting is the dotted line, so when you have it like selected, the Fibonacci, oh, let's go to like a red. That'll be more obvious. Click apply. So that dotted line just showing you, when you draw the Fibonacci itself, that's the line you're seeing. When you select it, that's kind of what you see as well. You can change every line's weight, their styles that they're drawn on there. And then you can also, of course, add what you want. Let's just add, let's do 73%. We'll add that. And that's, let's just say that's a very important value that I like to watch a lot. Let's just change it to like orange. And so look, yeah, now easily added different values of the Fibonacci there and kind of customize it how you want. And then again, that kind of save current page as default. I don't want to do this every single time that I want to apply Fibonacci on a chart. So if I save this current page as default, it will always pull up that same way that I just created. So let's do it again. We got the Fibonacci retracement and bam. Very useful to have that. Saves a lot of time for those that use Fibonacci a lot. Let's see here. Is there anything that I missed here? No, but yeah, that's kind of what the new properties look like. So there's the Fibonacci. The other thing I believe is the odds cone. So Don Fishback has an indicator. It's his probability odds cone. I don't know the exact proper way. Let me delete the Fibonacci there. So here's the odds probability cone. It's right here. There's some things you can do to it now. Double click on it to get to the properties. So here's kind of the parameter window here. You can choose the dates, the starting date, end date. By default, it's going to be 1008. So basically, it's looking at the volatility of the last 1008 periods. You can change that to whatever you like to kind of see the volatility within that period. I think it's an average. You can use specific volatility, so we can say 50%. Let's try that. And that means in the last 1,000 days, volatility has been less than 50%. But anyways, you can just kind of adjust and use this however you'd prefer. For those that know the indicator, this is very useful stuff for you. If you want to learn about it, you can always apply it and go to the help function to kind of learn how to use it and stuff. Other great features with it is you can add cones. So let's just add 25%. So, and we spent a lot of time with Don Fishback and creating it exactly how he likes it and how he wants it to be in here presented. So yeah, you can add the volatilities. And then also there's something called the drift period. If you use Don's work, you'll know what this is. But basically with the cone itself, you can choose it to drift. And I'll give you an example. Let's just change the value to 1. It changes the cone there. And what that means is it kind of gives it more of a bullish or bearish sentiment on the cone. So if something big just happened that was very bearish, we could probably go, I think we could do -1. Let's try -1. Yeah, so something very bearish happens, you can create your own shock value. I don't know exactly how you would apply that stuff, but you could change that to how you want it. We can do 0.5 if, something good happened, I don't know, but you can change the drift period on those to kind of match what's going on in the market now with shock value and stuff with news and whatnot. And then again, save it as default, or the current page as default if that's how you always like it. You can change the colors of the things there, the style. I don't know about the style, but I guess that's the main line right there in the middle. This line that we're messing with here. Yeah, so that's the probability cone. Crosshair, this one's a great new thing. This is something that I feel like is just a must-have in today's charting world. When you use the crosshair, I mean, pretty straightforward. You can now see the date at the bottom and then this price at the side there, which is huge. Previously, you had to just kind of eyeball it, but now you can just kind of see where it is, and very, very nice update there. Andrew's pitchfork. So Andrew's pitchfork indicator got an update. I'm not 100% or very familiar with the indicator itself, but I'll kind of go through it. So with Andrew's pitchfork, when you select it here, you'll click a starting point, a high point, and let's say a low point. And that'll kind of create the Andrew's pitchfork there. Oops, I need to click this, delete. With Andrew's pitchfork, going into the parameters here, there's new things you can do. So of course you got the snap to none, period, or price. You can choose where it snaps to. You can change all the values between each of the lines and stuff. And then the rendering type. There's different rendering types if you're using Andrew's pitchfork. They just calculate a little bit differently. So you got the shift here. It'll look a little different. They just calculate differently. And then you got the modified shift. Basically, let's go to standard. If you want to learn anything about those different styles there, you can click help, and the rendering types are right here. Shift moves the start of center line half the vertical distance between the first and second point. And then modified shift moves the start and center line to the halfway between the first and second point. So if you're going to try to get into this stuff, use the help files to kind of figure out those different ways you can plot Andrew's pitchfork. But we've added those. That was an ask from clients several times. Gave that an update there. You can, of course, change the colors and styles of the Andrew's pitchfork. So there's that. Oh, and I guess I missed that you can do warning lines and custom lines in Andrew's pitchfork, and that would, oh, that's right here. You can add the warning lines. I don't know how we would say 2. What does that do? Okay, so it looks like it puts a variant of 2, like 2 lines if I do that on the outside. If I do 1 as 1 or 0. Okay, so you can add the warning lines there, and then you can also add additional custom lines. I don't know if I have to do values. I get it probably would. So let's just say 160. Oh, 160. Oh, did I do that wrong? Oh, I have to hit add. That's right. And I probably did that wrong. It's probably not. Yeah, it's a percent reading. So see, I don't really use Andrew's pitchfork, so I'm not completely sure. What does that do? Okay, so it adds up the lines, and it looks like you select a percentage of the moves there to add your own custom lines and warning lines and stuff. So more customizability on Andrew's pitchfork. Easier to access text properties. So also, not only did we do trend lines, Fibonacci, the default pages that you can save. If you're going to mess with texts, it's just easier to mess with. Oh, let's go back. Double click it, and there's just more you can do inside the properties. You can change fonts in there, what kind of font you want, how the font size, bold. You have more customizability. You can just change what the text says right here. You can anchor it to a date or not, so you have complete control, but that's up to you. You can fill it in. Let's see what fill looks like. Okay, so there's a background if you fill it, and then also a frame. And a frame, there you go. So you have more customizability with text now. Change colors of things, save things as default. So if you're going to be using particular settings of your fonts, then of course you can save them now, and just again makes it a lot easier and nicer there. So that was the text. Let's move on. The X and Y axis. So these got a major update. These are really nice. There's a lot of nice things you can do. One of them, I would say, really important thing to me when I'm doing charting and stuff. If I apply specific indicators to a chart, moving averages and whatnot, you can now see the values inside the price, the y-axis there, which is nice. And whatever indicators you have, as part of the price, you'll be able to see them on the price right there on the y-axis. There's more customizability features in the y-axis properties here. So you can choose if you don't like to see the indicator values. Maybe it's just kind of in your way. You can say, unclick show indicator last value, apply, they'll disappear. So there's that. You can show base security last price label as well. Let's see here. Let's just unapply all that and add. And that just basically shows you where the price is, of course. You can display the pricing differently here. You can use the symbol definition, so whatever's best to match the symbol is what I'm guessing that means. You can have it show three decimals if you want to change decimals around, up to 9 decimals. You can have in the price there. You can also do fractions now too. So if you wanted to do 1/32, you can change that there. And I know that there's some things you trade that you want to look at fractions and stuff like that. I'm not too familiar with that stuff, but so there's more customizability there. Truncate price labels. Honestly, I'm not completely sure what the truncate price labels are. Hold on, I'm just kind of messing with it to see if I see anything. No. For those of you that know, you can now select truncate price labels. Let's see, you can scale it manually if you want to scale this yourself. You can have it automatically scale for you. And same goes for units as well, manual units or auto units there. You have the grid options. You can show major grid lines, minor grid lines, and grid bands. And if we wanted to add all that, we can do that. It looks nice, to have that kind of things. We can even just do the grid bands. Those are kind of the customizability features with the y-axis that you have now, though. You can change those more, and yeah, to your liking there. Same with the x-axis with the dates here. Really, you can like collapse the things in now and kind of make the menu look cleaner, or pull them back out again. You have your default maximum that you can choose there to load the data. You can choose date range to go from this date to that date, particular ones, and then data request range. You can choose default, maximum, what you want there. Yeah, so there's those customizabilities. You can also show date grids. So let's just do like grid bands. And now we have like a checkered or chessboard look right there. So yeah, those both got reworked, X and Y axis. Again, all these things are kind of tying down to like less clunky feel of MetaStock, which is what we're after. We of course want usability to be better and clunkiness, less clunkiness, and that's just what we're moving towards. So that's the X and Y axis. Next. Okay, so other updates we've done to the charts is, let me read through this, most recently used for selected time periods, easier identification. Yep, okay, change tile settings as chart load. Okay, allow charts show inactive gaps. Okay, so let's just go into MetaStock here. I'm going to select, and I guess that doesn't really matter, but I just kind of want to clear this. I'll just have it like this. This looks nice. So with the other things we've kind of done to the charting aspect is the time frames. So now if you select different time frames, let's just change things. You'll notice that it'll say intermediate, IM, and then intraday or interval, intraday minute is the M, and then how many minutes, 5. And it kind of changes that. And same with hourly. So you can see a lot easier what you're looking at immediately. You don't have to click on this as you did previously. There's 4 hours right there. So that's nicer. You can also customize, obviously customize your time frames there if you wanted to do 2-minute. A new feature, when you do have custom time frames, some traders might like to look at 2-minute charts, which isn't an already option. So if you customize it and create it and look at it, it's going to save the last 4 most recent used custom time frames. Which there's an example for 2 minutes. Let's look at like 75-minute. Click OK. We can see immediately it's 75-minute right there, intraday minute 75, and they save. So the 4 most recent will save. So if there's particular time frames you like to look at, that'll be a lot better for you. You don't have to always go in and type in what you want to look at. You'll just be a selection for you immediately. With that, we of course had to tie it in to allow you to choose that interval inside Chart tab, Explore tab, whatever it is. So now you can go to Explore and we can select that 75-minute bar, that period bar there, and we can explore for opportunities on the 75-minute chart. You can open up charts immediately to the interval you prefer. Again, it'll show those the last 4 most recent used custom time frames for you. I know that was a big ask for those that like 3 minutes charts or just whatever that's custom. You could do that previously. So that was very nice there. Another thing we've done is, I think, is it inner window properties? No, hold on, I gotta find this chart window properties. So you can change your time zone if you need to. You can, of course, change whatever time zone you're in. I'm Mountain Time over here in Salt Lake City, Utah, so I can locate that and input that to kind of match my time frames here. So yeah, yes, Mountain right here, and I could change that time. So it just kind of matches my time clock there. You can also, I don't know if okay. Let's see. You can, in 17, we added the ability to view pre and post market data for intraday users, but now you can also display inactivity gaps. So if there's inactivity, you can now display the inactivity there. And then let's also include pre and post market data. And so, yeah, that was something that was asked by our users, the inactivity gaps there. So those are some other neat things that we added to make things easier and less clunky, of course. The next thing is Power Console. And let's make sure we don't have any questions. Nope, so we'll keep going here. In the Power Console, we've updated the searching kind of the function to search for things, made it a lot easier. I'll jump right into MetaStock and just kind of show you. We close this chart. So now when you are in the Power Console, you'll notice there's a search bar. So there's initially like an instrument bar, like in the chart tab, you type the instrument you want to open immediately. But now you can quickly search through all of your data, which is nice. I'm going to give you a real life example that I had used this with one of my clients just to jump right to a symbol. And I'll do that right now. So I was talking with somebody who was trading in India markets, and he wanted me to pull up charts for silver in India, and I asked him the symbol. He wasn't sure what the symbol was, so I quickly typed in silver. And what this does is it'll sift through all the data here, and if we open up Asia here, Asia, and we go to, where was the Bombay? You can just kind of select, like drop them down. In Australia, here's all the symbol securities, the securities that have silver, that correlate with silver. But we did it for India, and so I quickly found, was it the Bombay? I thought it was the National Stock Exchange of India, and I quickly found out that the symbol for silver in the National Stock Exchange of India was silt.ns. And this is very helpful for anybody. If you can type, whatever you want, you could do it by company name and search the entire market of the data you have available and just kind of figure out everything under those names and drop down those you know, the little trees here to see what they're under. So search functionality got much better and enhanced with that. Again, symbol or name, you choose how you want to kind of search for it. That's very helpful. You can also do that in explorations, system tests. I mean, if you have MetaStock 18, 17, you'll see a lot of systems. There's a lot of systems in MetaStock that we already have, a lot of explorations. Sometimes it can be kind of a nuisance to just kind of go through the list all the time. So of course there's a favorites tab. You can right click and put them on favorites, but you can also just search for them now. So let's just say I want to look at PS systems. Bam, there's all the PS systems. It'll take me right there. But yeah, so you can search for systems. You can, again, search for specific security lists or whatever you want with the search function there. This goes for system tests as well. You can search for any system tests you would like to search for. And again, the list that you're searching for, symbols, whatever it is. So new great search functionality. I'm very happy with it. It already helped me just by looking for a specific symbol for a client. I'm sure any of you users that go through markets, you'll find use in that all day, every day, particular charts and stuff. And I guess, yeah, no, so we did add the favorites list as well, where instead of there being like a little drop down collapsible tree for favorites, we've kind of separated it to where it's just has its own tab now. So anything I add to favorites, right click it, add to favorites. I just need to click over to my favorites. So you can save all the ones of your explorations or system tests that you like the most into that list very easily, making it more personalized for your use. So there's that. But yeah, you can do that with both system tests and explorations. Now Quote Center, we did some changes in Quote Center where you can see gainers and losers bar. You'll now share theme settings with Optionscope, and when you open up charts from the Quote Center, it'll open up based on what template you have selected in Power Console, and I'll go through that really quick with you. So let's go to, I guess I was in Power Console. So if you're in the chart tab, actually I'll get to that last. Let's open up the Quote Center here. And let's just open up oh, right here. I'm just gonna open up. I'm getting lost here. Well, you know, we'll just do the ASX here. I was looking for the S&P 500, but not seeing it there. So if you open up Quote Center, here's the changes. It's loading. Oh, it's being very slow. Maybe we will search for something's happening here. Hold on, you guys. Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on. Messed with it earlier and it was completely fine. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's just the symbol there is stuck, but I can still do everything. So we'll just move forward and act like it's an arrow. I want to just open up. Seems like MetaStock's running a little slow or something. Indices. Okay, that's going to be the actual. Okay, let's go to. Let's just go here, and let's just select a few of these to open. And okay, that should be good. That's good. Thanks for bearing with me there. Hopefully this loads right away. Okay, there we go. This is what I wanted to show you. So immediately the new things with Quote Center is you'll see this new gainers and losers bar. It'll basically everything you have applied to your list. You'll be able to see which ones were up versus which ones were down. In this case, the list that I pulled up here, 4 were positive and 4 were negative or losers. So it's really nice if you have lists of hundreds and you kind of want to see your overall list, how it did. You can compare it quickly and get a good sentiment of your list there. Other things is grid settings. You can like change your themes. That might have been added in 17. But you can also customize the Quote Center to your liking to show whatever data you want. And another big ask was when you would open up a chart previously from the Quote Center, like let's say I opened up this one. It would open up as a smart chart, but now you can open up to whatever template you have selected inside the Power Console. So if I go to Power Console and click Chart, see right there it opened up as clean, but that's because I have clean selected. So let's just open up, let's just do, oh, there's a lot. Let's just do the Haguro for the example here. Let's open up this chart. But yeah, it'll basically just open up with the Haguro method template there. So that was always, that's been asked. That's a nice feature. If you use a Quote Center a lot, you'll love that. So that was Quote Center stuff. Let's see here. Optionscope. Optionscope got big updates to it. We've added a lot of things. We've added option strategies to it, so you can see like risk graphs and with different strategies there. The put and call ratios with volume and open interest. You could do searches for the top volume contracts and such, and you can customize things. So let's go and show you that. I'm going to close Quote Center, and we will go to Optionscope. Let's just look up Apple. We were using Apple earlier. Let's just kind of stay with that rhythm, I guess, and open it up. And while that don't know if it's actually opening here. Did I do something wrong? Let me check here. AAPL.O. Bear with me. This was working earlier before I. Okay, we'll just close it, reopen it. You know what? I'm going to open it in a different fashion. I'm going to go to a chart, open it from the chart just to see if it'll fix that. APL.O. Okay. Chart. We're in the Haguro method. Optionscope.
Edward, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Jeff.
I think it might be opening up in a different screen or on a different window. Can you highlight that? Yeah, highlight that.
Okay.
And try Windows Shift Arrow, and let's just see if it opens up for you.
Okay, Windows Shift. Oh, thank you.
There you go.
It was working earlier, and then it decides to do that. That's weird. Okay, well, we're good. Thanks, Jeff. And okay, so now that we have Optionscope open, we are in Apple. Immediately at the top, for those that use Optionscope, you'll see kind of a sentiment bar, not sentiment, but calls versus puts, and it'll be labeled volume and open interest. So we can see how much volume on calls there were versus puts with everything that we have displayed on the screen. And you can customize what's displayed. So if you want to just display, specific, just like next week stuff, you can do that, and so you can get some more volume or data on top of here. But yeah, so you can see what the volume is compared to puts and open interest of calls compared to puts as well. And then another thing is you can quickly scan or scroll to the top, like most volume put contract, or I guess that would be call right there. You can scan for the top volume contract and the top open interest contract to quickly figure out which ones you might want to look at. On top of that, with like the risk graphs and stuff, let me pull this. So you have this, all the different option strategies. We have 9 here that you can pick from. You can decide to do a long call on something, and you can select your strike price and stuff, but you can just go down and click on a contract, and it should automatically, yeah, it'll automatically plot if you select the contract there. But you can immediately see, let's see, your break-even point, profit. As price moves up, that's your profits, and as price stays the same or moves down, that's your loss there. But you can see that graph there. It's also customizable, so you can choose different colors for these graphs here. You know, profit is blue, losing is purple. I mean, you can restore it, or I mean, you can select and customize however you'd like to do that. There's also option strategies that will take multiple contracts. You can select, let's say, a long straddle. You have to select, this one looks like a long call leg and a long put leg. So we have to just select multiple, you know, the contracts or that you would be looking at, and then again, it'll show you your risk graph there. So that was a big update. You know, I know that I've had a lot of clients as I work with them that work with options. They ask for these kind of things. You can also search for the strategies that you want to look for. But yeah, there's 9 that you can pick from. You can customize them. You can see the call and put ratios of the volume and open interest there. Let's see. Did I cover everything in there? And okay, so Optionscope also shares this theme setting of Quote Center. So whatever theme you have in Quote Center, it'll share in Optionscope. And that's by clicking theme, dark orange or light. And yeah, so those will share. That way you don't have to select them manually there. It looks like I decided to slow down my computer, but that is Optionscope. Next, we have a new add-on, new systems, which is the Performance Systems Plus. Originally it was a $300 add-on. That got added. It included 54 new systems. We also did some updates on the Haguro system. I might need help from Jeff on that. I didn't get the full contents on what we did with the Haguro system. And then we also added the Daryl Guppy Trader ATR indicator, which is kind of like a stop loss that you can use with any system. It's Daryl Guppy's stop loss that he uses. We'll go through that. So let me actually, this is Performance Systems Plus here. It comes with a lot of systems. As you can see here, these are what will be added into 18. Originally, it was created by Robert Dedman. He tested over 10,000 combinations of systems and stocks, and he basically collected the best performing ones there. But yeah, let's just jump in and I'll kind of show you really quick the PS systems. This was a very popular add-on. It originally sold for $2.99. It's one of our most sold systems or add-ons ever. Not saying it is the best by any means or anything like that, but it's just, let's see, close that. So if we go to Explore, for example, it's going to be the PS systems right here. There's a lot. They're all back testable. They're open source. So for those that like to change the formula, to change things yourself or add things, you can do that with performance systems. Again, they test really well. Yeah, it's great addition to the software. It gives you a lot more systems to play around with. Typically $300. One thing that I like to do when I'm like running scans and I want to use, or not scans, let's say back tests, if I want to test all of them on a particular list, I like to use the new search function here and select them all by typing in PS. And I can click select all. Oh, and just kind of select them all. And then backtest whatever, list that I want to backtest them on. Yeah, go. I encourage you, if you have 18 or if you do decide to upgrade today after this, go through these systems, mess around with them. I'm sure you're going to find some you like. They really are awesome, powerful systems. So I encourage you to definitely look into those. The Darrell Guppy ATR. So let me open up a chart here and we'll apply a system. Let's go to Apple. Again, Apple is the stock of the day, I guess. And let's go. We'll just go with clean, and then I'll apply something from there. So clean template. There we are. And let's go to the expert advisor and let's pick some PS system. I don't know what I should try. What's Fractal look like? Okay, this works. Well, we'll use Fractal. Here's an example of one of the PS systems. I mean, yeah, look how good that looks. It catches things pretty well. So the Darrell Guppy indicator, it's a stop loss you can use. It is called GT Traders ATR Long. So what we do is we apply it to the chart, and then you can choose the start day of the month, start month. Let's see here. I think the default is the 14 ATR, and then start day of month. We will do, what day is this? Excuse me there. Hold on, let's just go off of this by signal. So this is 3/22 of 22. Oh, so 3/22. So we change that so it's day 22, the third month of 2022. That's the signal, that last signal on this fractal system. We're going to break on the low, so we're going to, let's break on the close. So number 2. So if we break and click OK, so what this means is if price breaks or closes below, I believe, I don't know, Jeff, if you want to jump in there, but that's when you'd get out when price closes below or breaks this trend line or the stop loss. Can you help me there, Jeff? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll also kind of just explain what the changes to Haguro were. So okay. With break on low, basically it just means if it goes down below the low, if the low goes down below the stop, it'll stop at that point. With break on close, basically it means it has to close below. So it depends on how you're doing a stop. Like, so for example, I like to look at the market at the close. If my stop is violated, but it doesn't close below the stop, I like to stay in the position. So if that's the way you like to trade, you leave it at break on close. Otherwise, a break of the low would get you out of that trade, basically. So that's all it is. Okay. Does that make sense, Edward?
Yeah, thank you. And I guess in this visual representation here, we can't see what happens when it does break that line. But basically the line, let's say the low did penetrate this stop, the line would just kind of stop and go sideways because that's where you got out. So that's kind of what it looks. So imagine if you will. Yeah.
Did you want me to kind of talk a little bit about what changed in Haguro?
Yeah, that would be great. I didn't get quite that far as the Haguro changes.
So should I just pull up Haguro, we measured sensitivity of the market based on volatility. One of the things Siki talks about in his book was if things had moved too far away from their norm, basically it was less significant if it hadn't moved at least a certain percentage. And so we had that set at 7. Because the markets are a lot more volatile, we just moved that up to 10. So now we consider things to be more significant or more important if they've moved at least 10% in range instead of 7% in range. That's all. Very, very minor change. And if you're interested in Haguro, it's a really cool system. There's actually videos on our website or on youtube.com/metastock that you can watch that go into Haguro a little more detail. So
cool.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. So that was the Haguro change. That was the Darrow Guppy ATR, the new indicator you guys can use. So that's pretty much, that sums everything up there. We went through the new charting stuff, the charting capabilities, the more ease of use. It's less clunky. We went through the charting styles. Heiken-Ashi was included. It's more customizable. It's smarter when you drop indicators. Indicators are more customizable. We went through the drawing tools and how you can set those up to fit how you like them better by saving default pages, and how they were just kind of all redone there. Power Console, new search function there, so you can easily find things easier. Systems, scans, securities, whatever it is. We saw how easy it was to locate silver in the National Stock Exchange of India, which is very helpful. Optionscope, we added the new risk graphs there, the put call ratios. You can search quickly for the top traded options based on volume or open interest, and the quote center stuff, the new gainer or loser bar, plus templates charts will open up in the template selected in Power Console. And yeah, the new ease of use features, the performance system, we went through all that stuff. So quite the webinar there. It is lengthier than an hour because there's just so much to talk about and go through. I try to go as quick as I can, but as thorough as I can. So I hope that was pretty thorough for you guys. Again, here's my contact information. If you like 18, you don't have it, you want to upgrade, please just reach out to me after this. I'd be happy to help you with the upgrade. I'll go through the prices in a minute here. And then if you're new to MetaStock, you've never seen it, this was just kind of something you stumbled upon, I encourage you to take a trial. I do have a trial. Contact me, I'll help you set that up. It looks like I forgot the price point of upgrades, but just reach out to me. I'll help you with price points there. They're different based on what version of MetaStock you have. There's a sale going on right now. Tomorrow's the final day, so reach out immediately. And that's pretty much it. Is there any questions from anybody before we were to end the webinar, or any last comments or anything?
We don't have any outstanding questions on YouTube.
Cool. Well, then I guess that about sums it up. So we'll wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody who sat with me and watched for more than an hour. I appreciate it. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Kelly. You guys are awesome. And I'll exit this now.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Right. Thanks, Edward.
See ya.
Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Thanks.